I had some friends I was doing Shaolin long fist kung fu with. And this is in Huntington Beach. I was still a teenager. I did a little bit when I was like in senior, junior year of high school. And we believed in it. Like I was like, I am gonna be the biggest badass. I'm gonna be able to like smoke everybody on the streets kind of thing. And then one of my friends got these old Gracie tapes. And this is right before UFC one. And he's like, these guys are beating everybody. And so I was like, okay, I want to like see it. And so we actually went first over to, I think it was Clever's, but it was in a different location. And I saw a bunch of like really burly guys. They were slapping each other in the face. It looked nothing like a martial art. I was like, no, that's real scrappy. I didn't like it, so I never joined. Well, then kind of fast forward some time, I was dating this girl, Jenny, and her sister was dating this guy, Kenny. And we went over there to Jenny's house, and Kenny was like, you guys are doing Kung Fu? We're like, yeah, it's rad, we're super good. And he basically like ridiculed us and said, you guys, I could smoke all three of you in this. So I despised Kenny at the time. And then through Kenny, my friend Peter, he's working at Hughes Market, and he goes, I'm going to go over and I'm going to start training at Clever's. And I'm like, is that where Kenny goes? Yeah, but a buddy of mine said you can get like really strong from it. And he wanted to go to the beach and look like kind of buff. So I thought, there's no way I'm going to have Peter like get a leg up on me. So I'm like, sure, try it. But before he could try it, I went and joined, just so I could beat Peter. And the funny thing is it worked. So like the whole time, like Peter was training, I was like a little bit better than him. I'd always say a little bit better than him. And like we'd always be very competitive. My other friend Derek joined. And the three of us were like very close. We'd surf together and stuff. And then we'd go and we'd train, we'd fight each other. And I think it helped us like get really into it in the beginning. But then I went away to college. When I went to college, I joined an affiliate of Health Students in Hawaii. And I didn't train often, but I trained mostly like just to make friends. You know, I wanted to have something other than surfing where I could like, because surfing's kind of solo. You know, you're out there by yourself. I wanted to find something where I could have like a calling card. Hey, let's hang out. I'm not a creepy guy, you know. And so there I did it just very sporadically. And when I moved back to California, I saw that Jiu-Jitsu had evolved a lot since when I started. When I started, it was like closed guard. Hold the closed guard. Hey, what about open guard? Don't do it. What about half guard? You're halfway past. And so I saw in the tournaments like everything was evolving and changing a lot. And I really liked what I saw. So when I had an opportunity to come back, I kept going. And so through that time, my wife got interested. She started training. And honestly, like, the reason why I trained has changed a lot over the years, and it changes still. But it stayed a good constant, you know. Like, it helps me stay in shape, it helps me be active, it keeps me feeling young, you know. And I'd say I never found a good enough reason to stop. So I just kept going. I got into riding because I was training at Orange County Kodokan, and they had this judo program where once a week Dan Camarillo would come down. And so Dan Camarillo is like a judo and jiu-jitsu black belt. And he was kind of helping us with our groundwork. He's a Health Gracie guy. All the Camarillos are. And through that, Dave Camarillo started coming in. And he had already written a book with Victory Belt. And at the time, I was getting my master's degree in political science. And he basically, so I would talk to Dave, and we would have these little talk arguments about politics and the world and things like that. And he goes, Kevin, I think you should write my book. So I said, sure. So we contacted the publisher, and the publisher said, yeah, no problem, Kevin can do it. And I just sent him like some of my old work I had to do. And I had a blog at the time. He saw the blog and liked how I approached things. And then before I even wrote a single page, I got Salo and Galvao signed up for a book. Just to say, well, I'm in over my head right now. Might as well get 3 people on board. In over my head. And, you my wife, she did yearbook in high school, so she actually knew a lot about like design software and layout and things like that. So she saw the parts of the victory belt format that she kind of liked and didn't like, and I think she improved on it in a lot of ways. And she's actually got really good English skills, so I would always kind of shoot things off of Haley. I had other mentors in the Jiu-Jitsu world that I could send things to, but it was all kind of happenstance, you know. Like I just kind of luckily fell into it. It's influenced my Jiu-Jitsu a lot though, because I don't necessarily think I roll like Solo, or roll like Camarillo, or roll like Andre, you know. But when you work on these books with them, it's very intimate. Like you get to see, you know, all their pros and cons. You know, you see like what they do best. You see where they, you know, are using more attribute and things like that. And you also get to know like how technical all these guys are. And they all have different approaches. And so I think what it did is it kind of gave me a wide breadth of technique. Like I saw there is no definitive yes or no to a move. Like there's a lot of ways to kind of approach and use a certain problem. And I think it helped me with instruction because a lot of my students, like there's certain things I'll remember and I'll go, okay, well, try this one. This is something Solo likes to do. And it'll work great for him. And another one I'll say, well, this is like more like this is like definitely an Andre type move. I think what Andre did with me, which was great, was he parlayed a sense of how to train, how to organize a class, how to get people better, you know, and that kind of transcends just here's a technique, do it for 2 minutes, now let's spar, you know, and how to approach technique and how to approach improvement. And then I started seeing, you know, Jiu-Jitsu really is like this. Like we get these stars, and they're very great at Jiu-Jitsu, but when you're developing your own self, you're going to become the best of you. You'll never be Andre, you'll never be Solo, you'll never be Roger Gracie, and that's entirely acceptable. You know, but the good thing is we can kind of find little elements, as long as you know you're not a dummy and you know how to put a problem together, you can figure out where everything fits. And the other thing I'll say is, every school, every star, these guys have far more in common than they don't. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we're still wearing a gi. We're still operating within the same rule book and framework. And so if a guy maybe puts his hand here instead of there, he has a great reason for this versus that, you know, it's still working within the same kind of rule set. So I do find it pretty easy to integrate different thoughts too. Well, it kind of started by accident. I originally opened up a long time ago when we were still checking out with Leandro, and it didn't work out. You know, our personalities didn't match, our visions didn't match, and so we kind of went separate ways. And Andre Galvad's kind of the one who brought me into Leo school. So the only reason I ever became checking out was because Andre I recommended me to go train at Braza and this, and then when all the splits happened, Andre wasn't even here. So during this whole time, he was still kind of serving as like a mentor for me. We would train and talk, and maybe not as much as we had or I would like to, but I got a lot of that impression from him. And when it was time to like decide what to do, like I decided I didn't like the way it was, you know, and I had like the first opportunity to kind of take over and make things my own. The first thing I looked at was I want to make sure that people are trying to train in a way where they can actually just get good at this. And that has been like my underlying philosophy from day one. Is if I thought I might be getting someone good and I find out, you know, guys aren't really getting that good, I would change things and I'd tweak things. And I just never wanted to rest on my laurels and think like I knew the only way, or this is the sole way of getting good at Jiu-Jitsu. So I found that like we would really start thinking a lot about more methodology once we became artists. But the whole underlying precept is get good at Jiu-Jitsu. Really try to improve, train a lot, but as a kind of a side note, is I really like a good positive environment. And so as part of that, it's like I like to be surrounded by guys who are here to have a good time, have fun. I like a relaxed atmosphere where people feel comfortable. There's a little bit of dogma, but not much. So I like the protocols good to an extent, but more or less for me, like I really believe in like training in a place where every morning you go, I would love to go train right now. And so that's kind of how I feel about the place. I want it to be somewhere people actually want to be at, never dread going. My only goal for the students are just to achieve what they came here for. Some people, they want to lose a little weight. We've had people win things like the World Championships, and get invited to Abu Dhabi, and travel all over the world competition. But that's their goal. For me, like my goal is to see people learn the art, get good at it, and really, I like people to know every aspect. I want them to know how to defend themselves, how to take somebody down, how to play guard, how to pass the guard, how to control position and escape. And really for me, like I want them to know the art of Jiu-Jitsu, like what that is. And that goal, for me, I would love to have like a bunch of black belts here. A lot of people that reach a very high level and can continue spreading the art. As far as their goals, if they come in here with something in mind, I want them to achieve it. I don't want them to waste their time or feel like they missed out on anything. I want them to feel like they really seize opportunity and was able to achieve what they came for.